IGN gobbles up a load of gaming news outlets. Xdefiant launches to major server issues, and Microsoft's new AI puts the ass in assistant. I'm Ass Dixon, and this is IGN News. Well, double whammy joke, worthy of a 7 out of 10. There's a general trend in gaming right now, with bigger companies roaming around, swallowing up everything they can see to fuel their insatiable hunger for money. Kinda like Mr. Krabs, but with far less bunda.
The sweet smell of an all-day sucker.
But that's not exclusive to developers and publishers. It's happening in games journalism too. Case in point, IGN has just bought some of its biggest rivals, such as Eurogamer and Rock Paper Shotgun. They're part of the UK-based media company Gamer Network and were previously owned by ReedPop, the organisers behind PAX and MCM Comic Con. Now, however, game publications such as GamesIndustry.biz, VG247, Dicebreaker, and as mentioned before, Eurogamer and Rock Paper Shotgun will be going under the IGN umbrella, and that's without mentioning a whole handful of other sites they also have shares in. And I don't think it's news a lot of people are excited about. First and foremost, because the layoffs have already begun. Alice Bell, the deputy editor of Rock Paper Shotgun, will be departing at the end of the month, and Brendan Sinclair, the managing editor of GamesIndustry.biz, has been removed from his position too. They likely won't be the last, and I really feel for anyone whose livelihood is up in the air right now. It's also just sad for the general media landscape. Having one company controlling more and more of the market is just the antithesis of healthy journalism. As much as we pour our love and hard work into this show, it's always good to get your news from multiple sources. And it gets hard to do that when these different websites are ultimately under one conglomerate media abomination. And I know a lot of gaming sites have a bad rep and were hunting for the SEO, and I very much acknowledge my own bias, but by God, do we need trusted voices more now than ever to hold gaming companies accountable. Embracer buying a load of companies, laying off a bunch of staff, and then imploding. Ubisoft saying we should get comfortable not owning games. Niantic making avatar changes that everyone hates. The tunnel vision of live service games. Shoehorned AI, predatory monetization, battle passes. The list goes on and on and on. But it's not just that. These sites often give a platform to small little indie games when no one else will. It's how I discovered one of my favorite games of the year so far, Sheepy: A Short Adventure, a free 30-minute platformer that is just a condensed little masterpiece. Go play it. Overall, it's just a real rough time right now. We should know, it's one of the reasons we have our Patreon, Jinx Plus. Yeah, I know, maybe that was a cheeky little plug, but also, what can I say? I like having a job. Now, we haven't even gone into IGN and their reputation and all that jazz, but either way, it's your opinions that I care about. What do you think of the acquisition, and what are your thoughts on gaming journalism in general? Hit us up down in the comments. Yesterday may have been another unsuspecting Tuesday, but we actually had two releases that are definitely worth talking about. First up, we had Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, a psychosis emulating action-adventure by Ninja Theory. It's one of only a handful of Microsoft exclusives coming out this year, and by God, does Xbox need it to be good. Overall though, it's sitting at a rather respectable 81 on Metacritic, so still a very good game, but not quite an answer to God of War or Spider-Man. And there's a pretty consistent theme amongst the reviews. The visuals and the audio are absolutely stunning, like industry-leading level, but sadly it's let down by lackluster story and gameplay. And despite Microsoft's recent studio closing spree, it is nice to hear that Ninja Theory's next game has already been greenlit. Either way, it's on Game Pass, so there's really no excuse not to check it out, especially if you have a decent set of headphones. Ubisoft also dropped their answer to Call of Duty, called Xdefiant, a game in contention for worst name ever, alongside Riot's 2XKO, and I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator. What am I talking about? That is a goddamn masterpiece. Back to Xdefiant, and its main selling point is that it's COD, but free to play, so I guess I can see a place in the market for it. Wait, what's that? Call of Duty is coming to Game Pass day one? I did plan to give it a go last night, but as is now expected with new multiplayer games, the servers just imploded. So I just played yet more Slay the Spire instead. So who knows if it's any good? Either way, there's several exciting factions you will be able to play as once things stabilize. There's the Cleaners from The Division, which recently had a game cancelled, and DedSec from Watch Dogs, which recently had a game cancelled. I'm sure you can sense the warm, glowing optimism everyone has for this game. Ever since Microsoft bought OpenAI, they've been trying to shoehorn that tech into absolutely everything, and it's no different for gaming. Copilot is a new little project they've been working on with the whole aim of creating an AI assistant to help you out in-game. It essentially watches your screen, works out what's happening, and then through the power of GPT-4o will help out over a totally not creepy voice chat. Just watch.
Hey Copilot, how's it going? Oh my god, what's that?
Oh no, it's a zombie. Run. You need to get away from it fast. Either sprint away or quickly build a tower of blocks straight up to get out of its reach. If you can find a shelter or dig into the side of a hill, do it now.
And wow, what miracle technology! Let's unpack this huge advancement, shall we? Well, first note is just how fundamentally unhelpful it is at the moment. Things like, get away from the zombie, is the kind of thing that should be obvious for anyone with half a brain cell. Plus, some of its advice is massively impractical, like suggesting building a block tower when the player clearly has no blocks, and then will have to rely on their fists to kill the zombies. Plus, in following its advice, the player runs straight into a dark cave, the perfect habitat for more zombies. Now obviously the tech is super young, and this is an early demo, but then it just begs the question of why show it off? It's important to remember as well that this is Minecraft, a game Microsoft themselves own and therefore have an absolute ton of data to feed the AI. And this is the best it came up with. The only actual practical use I can see for this thing is it developing into some kind of AI gaming companion, which is so dystopian and sad, I don't want to even think about it. Yeah, loneliness is a problem, but the cure for a lack of human contact is not yet more lack of human contact. Either way, Microsoft is clearly proud of their monstrosity for whatever reason, and I'm curious what you think. Can you ever see this manifesting into something useful? Let us know down in the comments. It's time for the Quickfire Round, and we're going to start with a game that's just a day away. The Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door remake has confirmed that one of your companions, Vivian, is in fact trans. If you played the OG game in places like Japan or Italy, you would already know this about her, but other localizations such as the English and German versions decided to omit such information. The new version thankfully has the game as the Japanese creators originally intended. Crazy how a game from 2004 can be so much more welcoming than so many today. We're sticking with Mario because we might be as close as we'll ever get to Mario Maker 3D. Kinda. That's because after almost 30 years of the same movement mechanics and the same old levels, Super Mario 64 finally has a level building ROM hack. Mario Builder 64 allows you to edit levels and it runs on the original hardware. You have over 100 parts to build your levels with, as well as some cool extras like permanent power-ups. You can also share your creations on some mod sites, as well as the developer's Robotronics Discord server. Now, bear in mind that Mario 64 is obviously a Nintendo game, and knowing them, they're likely to try and shut things down. But also, Super Mario 64 players are absolutely unhinged, and I want to see crazy people pull off crazy things in crazy levels. So for the love of God, Nintendo, let us have some fun. And finally, Paradox have delayed Life by You again. Unfortunately, the game they hoped would rival The Sims has been delayed for the third time. It was supposed to launch in early access in September last year and then was pushed back to March this year before being delayed to the 4th of June, which is just 2 weeks away, and now it's been postponed indefinitely. Great. You know what won't be delayed though? The end of this video. Bye!